Joshua, how's it going today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing well, and I appreciate you taking the time to join me. For those who are watching or listening, Josh is the director of Never Heard, a film that is streaming right now on Pure Flix. So let's dive into this movie that you so beautifully directed. Give us like the plot line. If you had a 20 to 30 second, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to, 20 to 30 seconds to just give us sort of the elevator pitch of this film, what would you tell fans?
I would say it's a story about a guy who is wrongly incarcerated for a crime that he did not commit. And unfortunately, in the process, his son gets a little lost in the street life. And through the grace of God, he's released and given the ability to protect his son.
That was a good elevator pitch. You've done this before. So, all right. So you've got a situation where somebody is falsely accused, falsely imprisoned, and you have some struggles there. What was it like for you to sort of bring this story to life? There's a lot of elements there that I would imagine you had to understand and sort of pull in as you were directing.
Absolutely. I felt it was really a discovery piece for me in a lot of ways. You know, I was less familiar with certain aspects of the story and certain aspects of the film in general. And through the process of making it, you know, I'll give you a funny one. I had a producing partner in the movie who was kind of guiding me from a gospel standpoint of certain aspects in the movie. And I started to dive into, you know, gospel music, gospel singers. And one day late night, I was listening to some music and I discovered this song and I thought, boy, oh boy, we got to find this guy. This guy's a star. We got to put him in the movie somehow. I got to use his music. And I woke up the next morning for production. I'm driving to set and I call my partner, Tony, and I was like, man, you ever hear this Kirk Franklin guy? And he was like, Kirk Franklin, bro? He's like, yeah, you didn't discover him.
You were like, oh, Kirk Franklin is a big deal in the gospel world, right?
Yeah.
So for you, that process of discovery, and then obviously, you know, you're integrating these faith themes into the film. What was that like, and what went into the decision to do that?
So that was through my partner in the movie, Mr. Tony White, and his wife Edna White, who are very faith driven, and that I felt helped to shape our overall linear guideline of sorts, like it's shaping these people's decisions, and it kind of helped to add an underbelly through the entire movie itself, as far as just overall guidance of sorts and understanding of what was taking place within the story in relation to what was taking place biblically.
So let's kind of backtrack on the story itself. Take us through the inspiration for the movie and how that was shaped and formed and how it actually led to the decision to turn this into a theatrical, because, you know, making a movie is a miracle, I always say. Getting a movie from an idea to actually finishing it is sort of a miraculous process. So take us through that a little bit.
It is very much a miraculous process. Every time it's a giant rock. Just imagine pushing a giant rock up an endless hill that you just never know when the top would be. But the original conception of the movie was based on a stage play by Tamara Hill out of San Diego called "I Never Heard My Father Speak." Tony brought us the stage play. We reviewed it, adapted it into a screenplay, and then took the long journey of turning it into a movie. It was quite a stretch for us. It was quite a process, but like you said, eventually you come to a close, and we're excited for it.
So let's talk about second chances, because that's a theme that really resonates with me with Never Heard. And we kind of live in a world where, you know, second chances aren't always a thing that's granted. You know, there's a lot that happens in our culture today, you know, and there's the whole debate and discussion over cancel culture and all of that. But at the core, the idea that not everybody gets a second chance, why is it important to explore this theme in the way that you have in the film?
I think second chances are important. I think people people should be given more of them. There is there's a part of life where you may go down the wrong road or you may stumble, but I think collectively it's important for us all within society to look at people for who they can be. There's a saying, it's never too late to become who you were always supposed to be. And I very much believe in that. And I think this film does that in many ways. Aaron, the lead character, was looked at as a gangbanger to be thrown away in jail for the rest of his life. And I think the film helps make you realize that, everyone has another side to them, and everyone has different attributes. And if you give somebody a little hope and a little support and a little faith, that they shall rise to the occasion.
Yeah, and for you, I mean, here you are. You're directing. You're pulling the story together. The role of a director is a tough job. You're kind of a lot rests on your shoulders, right? And so as you're going through that, and you're watching Aaron's journey, and you're the one who's helping bring it to life. What did Aaron as a character teach you, just in general, maybe about yourself, maybe lessons you learned that you hadn't thought of along the way?
Aaron as a character taught me, I think, that the importance, truly which is something that I'm fully aware of, because I feel like a portion of this story was experienced by me through my childhood somewhat. So the active support of a father in someone's life can dictate the outcome of that child immensely. And I feel very much so at an early stage in my life, without the guidance of a father, my life was going in one direction. And once my father appeared within my life dramatically changed. So I think I gain a lot of inspiration and self-understanding from the character Aaron, and also the movie itself.
Yeah, and probably I would imagine your experience helped you shape the character in some ways too.
Absolutely. Yeah, there was little things that I threw into the movie as far as, my own experiences, meeting my father and developing an experience with my father, as far as just little inherited things that we do, and how that carries over just genetically.
So let's say somebody's watching this interview, they're listening to it, they go and they watch Never Heard. What is your goal as the director for what they're thinking and feeling and experiencing?
So the overall goal was emotion. We wanted people to truly feel a sense of emotion for these characters, and a sense of emotion for the overall story, and what it means to society in general. It's I think emotion in general was what we were looking to portray.
So obviously, fans of the movie, they're going to want to know more about you and who you are, and where you sort of came from when it comes to the film world. Like, what was it for you that made you say, I want to get into film, I want to direct, I want to create stories and bring them to life?
I always loved movies growing up. I used to go to the dollar cinema up the street and watch them and just be enamored by them. But I never thought that it was a possibility. I grew up in Montreal, Canada, and it wasn't really like a movie town. I didn't know anyone in movies. It wasn't an attainable goal. However, through my early teens, I was accepted into a school in Arizona, and then shortly after that, I got injured. I tore my rotator cuff. They were pumping me with a bunch of painkillers, and I was flunking out of school. And I did some soul searching and decided, what do you want to do with your life? Like, what is it that you want to do? And I realized in the process that You know what? I always loved storytelling. I always loved movies. Maybe there's a way that I could get into movies. You know, if I'm here, maybe there's a way. And shortly after that, I moved to New York and I got into a film program there. And shortly after that, I moved to LA and started my career.
And here you are, and we appreciate you so much, sharing the story with us. And I love that you had this passion in you, you worked towards it, and you made it a reality. You made it true, and you've got this great movie, Never Heard, that people can watch right now over on Pure Flix. Where can people go to find out more about you?
They can go to www.weberfilms.com or through my Instagram, Josh A. Weber.
Well, listen, Josh, we so appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.